Welcome back to Fourth and Pain, the only pro wrestling show to be hosted by an NFL player, a weight loss champion. He's Redskins defensive end Adam Carriker.
Hi.
Former wrestling announcer turned weight loss champion Chuck Carroll here. Be sure to like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Fourth and Pain. And join us each and every Sunday morning on 1067 The Fan, bright and early, 8 a.m. Worth getting out of bed for, wouldn't you say?
Or if you're just on your way to church, hey, we'll do the Lord's work for you.
You're out of bed anyway and on your way to see God. So anyway, this here is Fourth and Pain. Gonna field a lot of questions. This is the Ask Adam segment.
Let's do it.
So if you ever have a question for Adam Carriker, tweet him at AdamCarriker94 using the hashtag AskAdam.
Or at Fourth and Pain, either one.
Absolutely, but cannot stress the importance of the hashtag AskAdam enough. If you don't use that hashtag, we're not answering your question on the air.
That's Chuck's rule. He's the jerk.
I am the jerk. I'll take the heat for this. So let's start with Adam Bergstrom on Twitter, who writes in, what would one use to unclog a toilet before the plunger?
I actually know the answer to this because my dad got a water-saving toilet when we moved into our house in the 8th grade. And as you can see, I am a large man, and the things I do on the toilet are rather large. So as a result, I had to unplug many a toilet in my day. There's a thing called a snake, and I know this is a funny question, but I've got the legit answer, and I feel pretty smart about it. It's called a snake, and basically, you... Not that snake,
Really?
You sicko. Not that snake.
Wow.
Basically, you put it in the bottom of the toilet. Instead of the plunger going like this up and down, trying to get the water to move and everything to clear out, you put this and you push the snake out, and the snake goes into the pipes and back into the plumbing in the wall, and it pushes it out manually, as opposed to moving the water up and down with the plunger.
Interesting.
So there is a serious answer to your joke question.
Always trust a big man to come through with the toilet questions.
I've got the answers.
Duh03 Monster writes in, Adam Carriker, what up? How you doing?
I'm doing good. This guy tweets me frequently on Twitter, so I threw his question in here as well. I'm doing good, and I appreciate you being so nice and friendly to me on Twitter all the time. I am progressing. Life is good. Thank you.
Southern Madman tweets, who do you think is the best, the Iron Sheik or Hulk Hogan?
I mean, they're both Hall of Famers. They're two of the greatest of all time. They had many matches against each other. Hogan won his first world championship against the Iron Sheik. I mean, honestly, Hulk Hogan's the bigger name. I'm going to go with Hogan.
Dog322, a good question, one that you and I have actually discussed on the show. Who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble?
We're going to debate this either a week from now or leading right up to the Royal Rumble. We're going to debate who should win. So I haven't fully decided in my mind yet. I have predicted Randy Orton to this point. But I have seen some predictions for the WrestleMania main events, and this changes who I think is going to win. I think it's either going to be Randy Orton or John Cena. One of those two.
Some dude named Pitbull wrote in, but he didn't use the hashtag AskAdam, so too bad, so sad. Like I said, if you don't use that hashtag AskAdam, we're not answering your question.
We want to answer your questions. Please use the hashtag. The reason we ask is because otherwise we don't know that there's a million questions that are sent to us. And when you use the hashtag, we always answer it every Wednesday. And so we know what questions to put on Wednesday. The other questions, they're just kind of sporadically answered. So we know when to put them up.
Trojan Man 28 writes in, who is the greatest sports athlete to have wrestled in WWE or WCW?
And there's a lot of guys who have come through, and the wrestlers themselves, they're great athletes. Kofi Kingston, Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, all these guys, they are great athletes themselves. Karl Malone came through. To me, I've got to go with Dennis Rodman, and there's 5 reasons, and he can put one on each finger. He's got 5 rings. He's got 5 world championship rings. I would just like to get one.
You're sleeping on Jay Leno, who was a hell of a ping pong player in high school.
He could be the worst.
Hell of a ping pong player.
Might be the worst and have the biggest chin.
Next question from Michael J. Green on Twitter. AstroTurf or grass? Which do you prefer?
The old school AstroTurf is terrible. It's terrible for your knees, and your body just aches afterwards. The new stuff with the little beads, and it's a little softer. I would actually prefer that. I feel like I'm a little bit faster, a little bit quicker on there. It's still rougher on the body. So for practice, I prefer grass so the bodies and the joints feel better. But for games, I prefer the little AstroTurf.
Adam, not going to lie to you. Love this Twitter handle. Love the question even more. At Homeless Zombie tweets in your opinion, what is the lowest skill position on the field? Where is it easiest to substitute guys?
Well, the lowest skill position is any offensive line position. I mean, center, guard, tackle, they're all unathletic. Where is the easiest position? A little bit of jokes in there. Where is the easiest position to substitute guys? Maybe the cornerback because they're literally right next to the sideline. Is it based on location? I'm confused.
I don't know, but I just kind of have to go back to your first answer because I actually played offensive line.
Well, that just makes my case for me.
I don't like you anymore. So we're going to wrap up
You
the
didn't like me
mailbag
to
right
begin
there.
with.
Well, you got that
What's
right.
that matter?
If you ever have any questions, again, tweet at 4th and Pain or at Adam Carriker 94 using the hashtag AskAdam. Again, critically important. But as we wrap that up.
Well, I will say that the positions that are most frequently substituted on defense or D-line, you're constantly rotating guys in trying to be fresh. And on offense, it's receivers because different packages are coming in and going out all the time. So maybe you want a big guy in a short yardage situation, a fast guy in 3rd and long. So those are the two most frequently substituted.
As I was saying, wrapping up the mailbag. Thank you very much.
Sorry.
Ask Adam.
My bad.
Hashtag use it, love it, know it, live by it. Monday Night Raw. Did you know, Adam, this is a fact, had its largest average audience since Raw 1000 back in last July, averaged 4.55 million viewers, I do believe.
Well, that's because the last really good Raw was Raw 1000, and people knew this was a 20-year anniversary, so it'd be a better Raw.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you look at that. You look at the ratings for...
Blows everyone else away.
Yeah, exactly. That was up over 6. But you look at this upward trend, and I attribute this not only to it being the 20th anniversary of Monday Night Raw, but this is the effect of The Rock. This is what The Rock has.
Absolutely.
And The Rock, again, featured prominently on Monday Night Raw this week. I will say this, his promo skills, his mic skills, a little bit better this week than what we saw in his initial return. Loved his cover song to Vickie Guerrero at the close of Raw.
I thought my wife was asleep. I'm watching Raw. It's like 11:15. I've got the volume down, and I'm trying to let her sleep. And he sings what he sings to her. And my wife rolls over, looks at me, and goes, "Nice, Adam," and then rolls over and goes back to sleep. But it was a great song. It's hard to beat a Rock. I love when Cena comes out as a doctor of thugonomics and he raps, and I love when The Rock comes out and does the Rock concert. I just have one little beef with his concert.
What's that?
I felt like there was a lot of biding time. I felt like there wasn't actually a whole lot of singing. When he sings songs and he does them, he does a great job. I just wanted more of it and less, the other stuff.
Well, you know what the Rock's Rock concert reminds me of is Storytellers on VH1, which is all talk and very little music. All talk, very little music, because he played those same 4 chords, the beginning to Wonderful Tonight, about 18 million times before he said what he said about the lovely and not so talented Vickie Guerrero. Other key takeaways from Monday Night Raw, we saw the last of Eve Torres, loses the WWE title to Caitlyn, and then proceeds to quit the company.
Well, the Divas title.
The Divas title.
I was a little bit surprised by this. I mean, I don't watch the Divas a ton, but when I do, she's probably one of my favorite divas. The whole Hosky thing,
right?
Zack Ryder bit she did, the John Cena bit, all of that stuff. I actually dug all that stuff.
And it's curious to see where she's going to land. I know that I believe she's recently married, just maybe wants to spend some time at home.
Maybe a little one on the way, another karma incident perhaps.
Who
when
really
is Karma
knows?
coming back, by the way?
I don't think she's coming back to
She's
WWE,
not?
my friend. No, I think that ship has
I've
sailed.
actually been
with her.
waiting for that.
Unless she's a surprise entrant at the Royal Rumble.
Ooh, like
then,
that.
of course, The Miz and Ric Flair. Now, I know that you are not a fan of Ric Flair and parading around the ring, hitting the ropes, dropping the elbow on the coat.
What'd the coat do to him?
The coat was there, and he
don't
needed
get
a
it.
prop to drop the elbow on, and
I
he's
just
been
don't
doing
get
it
it.
for years. It's
I
not as though he
know.
pulled it out on
It
the
doesn't
Miz
mean it's
TV.
better now.
I think it is. I think that
everyone
he
does
ages
but me.
fine like wine. But look, here's all you really need to look at with that is you look at the thrill that the Miz genuinely got out of that segment.
Oh, you could tell he was
when
having
he
a
said
blast.
that this was the highlight of his
You
career.
could tell that was legit.
You can't tell me if you weren't in his position, you wouldn't mark out for that.
Oh, absolutely. Ric Flair is one of the top 5, top 3 greatest wrestlers of all time. I'm just not enamored by his mic skills like everyone else. And when he bounces off the ropes and does these elbow drops to absolutely nobody or nothing or a sport jack in the middle of the ring, I just don't get it.
All right, now here's a shameful admission. Because I get up so god-awful early in the morning, I actually fell asleep for a time during the John Cena-Dolph Ziggler cage match. What were your takes on that? Because I know that ran a good 3.5 segments on the show, so it really was pay-per-view quality.
If Dolph Ziggler was ever going to beat John Cena, I mean, I know he beat him at the Money in the Bank when AJ turned heel and interfered, but if he's ever going to beat John Cena, that was the time. Biggie Langston interfered about every 15 seconds. AJ Lee's climbing to the top of the cage, didn't actually do anything. But if it was ever going to happen, it was going to be then. And still John Cena won. And to me, that's just the company saying John Cena is still the top dog. And Ziggler, you're somewhere right about just above average, right below good.
You know, I kept hoping for the parts that I was awake anyway. AJ Lee, when she gets up on the cage, I was hoping for like a little Superfly Snuka.
I was waiting for her. Why did she get on the cage? She didn't do anything but scream. What was the point?
You got to figure a girl like that weighs what, $110, $115 on a good day. If she flew, those guys could catch her.
Oh, that would have been odd. I was waiting for it, but then she just sat there, and I don't get the point to that.
You got to pull out something like that. You have to pull out all the stops on a show that big. Forget the fact that it's Raw 20. Forget that you're on the road to WrestleMania at this point. You're on the verge of the Royal Rumble. You need people jumping off of cages. That's what needs to happen right now.
What did you think about Brodus Clay? You know, chucking and jiving in the CM Punk? What did you think about that whole bit?
Loved it. Loved it, despite the fact that he lost to CM Punk, the fact that they acknowledged what CM Punk said the previous week on Raw, because up until this point, Broadus Clay, they kept taking shots at him, and nobody acknowledged it. He didn't acknowledge it. But then he comes out and he says, you know what? I shuck and jive because I choose to, and I'm still going to kick your ass. And he comes out there and they have a pretty good match. Now, of course, the WWE champion remains the WWE champion, but it was just really nice to see him acknowledge that. What do you think?
Well, I think CM Punk doing what he did is going to help launch someone like a Tyson Kidd, maybe change what the Funkasaurus does. Please change what the Funkasaurus does. and just anybody he mentioned within that promo there, I think it's only going to help them, and that was the reason for it.
All right, and with that, we are fresh out of time for today. Be sure to be joining us tomorrow where we make our NFL picks with Goldberg, and we're going to be talking a little bit more about the competitors, TNA, dare I say. How about that, Adam?
Hey, I'm looking forward to it.
This is Fourth and Pain. We will see you tomorrow.
Holla.